Now we get to the biggie, the Iron Horse Ramble. As it says there, it was 1962 that Hugh and I decided to take a trip out on the Great Reading Railroad locomotives that have been preserved up to the mining town of Milton in Pennsylvania, which I only vaguely remember as to where it was, if I even knew at the time. But there's a couple of shots here at the beginning of the film. This one is in Langhorne, PA, in other words, in northeast Philadelphia. One of the two locomotives, 2100, the other one being 2102. And we weren't on this particular ramble. The family just went up there to see it go past, which may be arguably the best way to do it, but doesn't put any money in the pockets of the sponsors. And here's the whistle blowing up. 2, 3, and look for the engine. It's deafening. The train just about starts out. Now look at the smoke out of the spout. That's not black by any means. That's pretty good burning. There's massive connecting rods. This was just a photo op, but a very good one. Those great old Reading Railroad cars, passenger cars. Now here we are at again, I think it's in Langhorne, or very close to it, where the train was going to come down, and here it comes now. As a matter of fact, I'm standing right beside the track with telephoto and shaking like a leaf anyway, and here's the train whistling, going across that road, and my God, it must be doing like 80 miles an hour at least, maybe 90, going like the clappers. Wow. And you saw by the electric lines that it was on the Pennsylvania Railroad too, which is quite something. Now I think here we are on the Iron Horse Ramble, and we're on our way now to Reading, PA. It started out at Reading Terminal, and the Reading Terminal, of course, now is being made over into a convention center. But at that time, when Hugh and I went there, it was a regular passenger terminal. It was on a Sunday, so it was relatively empty. Just enthusiasts going to get their tickets and so on. And the train was run in two halves. We went diesel out of PA, out of Philadelphia to Norristown, where we joined up with the locomotive, our own locomotive, and it pulled us to Reading. And then we coupled up the rest of the cars in Reading, which you just saw, and went out, and here we are at the first photographic opportunity here. Besides the gigantic gear on this train, it's hard to believe it's only 4 foot 8.5 gauge. Gigantic. It's a fairly long train too, so here we're underway again. And Hugh enjoying. And here's the train in a perpetual left turn. God knows what's in those barrels down to the left there. In this day and age, maybe they'd be questioned more. And the train stopped at a mine that was still active. You can see, I think in a subsequent shot, there it goes, the mine truck coming up the ramp, emptying its load, which you can't see, but then it goes rattling on down into the mine again to be filled up one more time. And we did seem to hang around, I don't know why, maybe waiting for freight trains, but we got going again through the small towns of upstate PA. There's a now defunct, I suppose, caboose through the beautiful countryside there.
I'd say you sure scored with that number.
Who is that guy who keeps butting in? Everybody has to make a living. Here we are going through the tunnel and out the other side. One of those beautiful bridges. I think it's part of Americana, just the little old iron bridges down in the valley while the train is stopped on the curve above it. It was really a beautiful day weather-wise too. At this point I remember we're being pulled by a diesel locomotive, a green painted Reading Railroad diesel locomotive. Hugh and I are in the baggage car watching the world go by. It's particularly good because the doors open, I guess, all the way down except for these bars to stop people from falling out. Oh, that's the end of the car, and there's a connection between us, a correction, the diesel locomotive. See what that is. And back up, we caught up with the locomotives one more time. I think we joined up with them in tandem. The pair of locomotives are here now. There's 2102 they haven't seen before in this film, I think. Slowly backing up. And very slowly backing both of them until we got underway, and here we are. And this is very shaky, but it's in telephoto. This is downtown Philadelphia, but it's the end of the film. Well, not quite. This is a run on the B&O line out of Philadelphia, you know, the Philadelphia branch, just as it's running near Vertol. And we had two cameras. There was a regular shot. I think it's the same locomotives we've just been seeing, right? Or locomotive. And here's the same shot in slow motion taken with a camera that dear old Herb Klauberg was kind enough to lend me. I was taking a risk, wasn't it? Mind you, it was just an old brownie box, I guess, but still no. That was kind of him. Be a long time since that truck ever sees another one of those locomotives. It's Holmes, PA, I guess. Now here we are on our way on Route 30 in Lancaster County, on our way to Strasburg, the Strasburg Railway. And the children, I think, if anything, they're a little bit, Hugh's a little bit younger there. Good old 31, an old switcher, Baldwin switcher, I guess. Beautiful cars. Yeah, he was definitely younger there. And there's his head. Now the train's starting out from Strasburg on its way to Paradise, PA, via Groff's Grove, where we intend to stop off for a picnic and catch another train coming past. Now the train's running around, and there's the Pennsylvania Railroad in the background there. And that little turning off to the right there is the road back from this Paradise Junction, you might call it, back to Strasburg. Here we are coupled up, or just about to be. You recognize him as the chief coupling overseer there. And this gent, who I seem to remember. And guess what? A pair of GG1s roaring past, pulling a freight. Wow. And of course, when they saw the steam locomotive, they blew up like crazy. Beep, beep. This is after we departed the train at Groff's Grove. Now it's heading back to, on its long, long run to Strasburg, PA. There's the family around the picnic table. Here comes the train back. Not to get excited, it doesn't stop on its way out, it only stops on the way back. That's to save time for the schedule, of course. Bunch of people in an open car. And by the way, it's still operating today, 30 years later. I think they're the same cars. I can't swear to it, the same locomotives there. At this rate, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't still be there. Now we're back at Strasburg, and this is the runaround. It's just about to couple back on. Now, here's a little surprise. Here's my brother Michael, who's just departing after a stay with us, going back to England, and that's our old brown station wagon. Arguably, well, the second best car we ever had, I guess. The green one was slightly better. Certainly a fine car. Michael all dolled up for the trip. That's what people used to do. I still do, of course. But that's only to be different. Now, we're taking his picture out of the airport, and here he is, the last one to go up this air stair into Great Lockheed Electra. Correction, Lockheed. I'll think of it in a minute. Constellation, who could mistake that? With the three tail fins. Watch this number 2 engine start up in a minute. There's the crew going aboard. They can't start it without the pilot. All ashore that's going ashore. Up, 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 cough, cough, up, up. Away it goes. Actually, I suppose that this was not going across the Atlantic. He was flying to New York in this clipper. Because I know I used to travel on them on business to St. Louis. And but I don't think they went abroad on these two. They were a fine flying airplane, but they used to rattle a bit. You could stand in the rear toilet and look out the little window and see the outboard fin, I remember. It's kind of fun. Now it's taxiing out for takeoff. And that piece of fluff on the film. Now, okay, now watch this takeoff run. It's started to roll, his nose comes up a little bit, and the next thing you know, it's in the air. It's incredible. I've never seen anything take off that quick. Flying over the fin of what I think is a DC-8.